Hi there, welcome to the Met Office 10-day trend. I imagine many people across the south of the UK enjoy the sensation of rain falling from the sky overnight and into the start of Wednesday. And we certainly saw rain widely across the south of the UK, where it has been so severely lacking during the last 2 months. In fact, Wisley in Surrey tops the table in terms of the length of its dry streak. 62-day dry streak came to an end as 1.6 millimetres of rain fell on Tuesday night. 1.6 millimetres of rain obviously isn't going to solve the drought situation overnight, but of course it's better than nothing. The question is, has the seal now been broken? Does this mark the beginning of the end of an extraordinary summer? And it has been an extraordinary summer. This map here shows how much maximum temperatures averaged across the UK have been above the normal, and you can see most of England and Wales 2 degrees above average or more. Some parts of England have been more than 4 degrees above average for their maximum temperatures. Closer to average Western Scotland, where it's also been wetter than average, the only part of the UK where it's been wetter than average so far compared with summer as a whole. For most of the UK, it's been a remarkably dry summer so far, especially across England and Wales. Some places less than a third of their summer rainfall, close now to the end of the season, which of course ends on the 31st of August when you talk about meteorological summer. So we need, by my calculations, an awful lot of rain to make up for the severe lack of wet weather of the past 2 months. And to answer my previous question, has the seal been broken? Well, one short answer to that is that the weather patterns have indeed changed, but we're unlikely to see the amount of rain we need, certainly in the next week to 10 days. What we are likely to see is something closer to normal as far as UK summer weather is concerned. Now, it might be difficult to remember what a normal UK summer feels like, but the jet stream has dipped south. Low pressure has replaced high pressure, and so it's going to be considerably cooler over the next few days. In fact, temperatures dipping below average for a few days later this week, and with low pressure over the top of us, with low pressure in the upper atmosphere over the top of us and the jet stream to the south of us, there'll be frequent showers, not just where we've seen plenty of rain, the far northwest, but across all parts of the UK during the next couple of days. However, as is typical for a UK summer, rain will come in the form of showers, and we're expecting the liveliest showers on Thursday morning to affect northern and central England, parts of Wales, some thunderstorms thrown in, some hail, as well as torrential but highly variable rain. Now, the showers will sink south, even affecting parts of the south and southeast by the afternoon. Fewer showers towards the north compared with Wednesday, still some around, and this cool northerly breeze making it feel very different compared with the summer so far, of course. Temperatures in the south close to average, temperatures further north a little below average. In fact, it's going to turn a touch on the chilly side for some places overnight. Temperatures heading towards the low single figures for some sheltered glens of Scotland, for example. More widely, 8 to 10 or 11 Celsius in the north. Or heading up towards the low teens in the south, and plenty of clear spells actually for the start of Friday. Showers becoming more confined to the east and the west of the country, with the central spine seeing predominantly sunny spells with this brisk northerly breeze. Plenty of showers for Northern Ireland. Wales and the southwest seeing the heaviest downpours. Again, the odd thunderstorm thrown in. Also some showers in the east. Look at those temperatures. With the northerly breeze and that cooler start, we're looking at highs of mid-teens in places, perhaps even just stretching into the low 20s. But that's such a contrast compared with summer so far, where maximum temperatures in the south have been averaging the mid to high 20s, remarkably. So how do those temperatures compare with average? This map shows widely below average by several degrees in some northern and eastern parts of the country. And that's, again, something we've really not seen much of during the summer so far. Friday and Saturday mark the nadir in temperatures through this week. as the jet stream is well to the south of the UK, so this cooler air affecting many parts of France as well, where there has also been an extraordinary summer, even more extraordinary in some respects than the UK's summer. But through the weekend, high pressure starts to build in once again. If you're worried about another heat wave, don't be. I'll explain why we're not going to get one in the next 7 to 10 days in a moment. However, that high pressure is going to kill off a lot of those showers gradually through the weekend. So, yeah, we'll start off again on the cool side on Saturday, some sunny spells, but also still with this cool air mass, this north to northwesterly airflow. Showers confined to coastal areas, not quite as heavy as Friday showers, and plenty of dry and clear spells in between. Rather a lot of cloud, not extensive sunshine, and you'll see how the temperatures again are below average widely, mid to high teens in the north, low 20s further south. So a welcome, fresh feel for many of us, where, especially in the south, people have been sick of the relentless heat waves. In the south on Sunday, we start with some sunshine, again a cool feel to things, a bit more cloud builds towards the north and northwest, some showery rain reaching western Scotland, Northern Ireland, the northwest of England, not a huge amount, however, and staying dry once again in the south as that high pressure dominates things once again. So how much rain does that all add up to over the next few days? Well, this map shows the rolling rain accumulations from the time of recording, Wednesday afternoon, right the way through to the weekend. And it shows the speckled nature of the showers for many parts of the country, so highly variable from place to place. Yeah, some places will get 30 to 50 millimetres of rain across parts of England and Wales, especially to the north and west of England and West Wales. Scotland and Northern Ireland seeing more even distribution of rainfall totals, and again 30 to 50 millimetres in places. But there are some parts of central and southeastern England where there are still whites on the map, so hardly any rain during the next 5 days. It just shows that hit and miss, that variable nature of the rainfall. I wouldn't take the exact position of the wetter areas and drier areas too literally, because of course showers are so hit and miss. Either way, those showers are easing through the weekend. We've got high pressure in place as we end the weekend and go into next week. But will it bring another heat wave, as I've already suggested? No, because it's more likely to be fleeting. As you can see, that high pressure gets squeezed away by two lows. There's one low dipping to the south, out to the west of the UK, jet stream dipping south as well. Another low creeping up from the south, could bring some showers to the south on Monday. And the high, meanwhile, all the time gets pushed out to the east of the UK. However, it's at this point that various computer models start to differ. We don't just look at one computer model run when we're talking about weather beyond 5, 6, 7 days. We look at lots of computer model runs because of chaos theory, the idea that subtle changes at the start of a forecast can diverge significantly beyond 4, 5, 6 days' time, and you end up with very big differences later on in the forecast. So we look at these different computer model runs that have different starting conditions. Now, the European model is run 51 times. On the top, we've got the control run, which has the best possible starting conditions, the best information fed to it at the start. The bottom panel here shows member 14, which has slightly different starting conditions, which gives us an idea of how much these two model runs will vary as we go into next week. As you can see, they start off very similar. High pressure to the east, low pressure dipping to the west of the UK, and that means that a dry start to next week is likely across many parts of the UK, and the low pressure to the west is slow moving. Because of its position, we're likely to see temperatures rising early part of next week. Not likely to be a heat wave, but ending up above average by Tuesday, Wednesday. With that low pressure to the west as well, we're likely to see cloudier skies and perhaps a better chance of showers or longer spells of rain towards the west and the south early to middle part of next week. But it's from the middle part of next week that these two scenarios differ significantly. One subtle change you can see is that this low elongates out to the west in the Atlantic. There's an even deeper low, an ex-tropical feature moving up in this scenario. And if I play them forward from the middle of next week, what you can see is something quite active develops on the bottom panel, this member 14. And by Friday, the 28th of August, there are significant differences between the two. Not huge differences, because they both have low pressure over the UK. They both have wetter and breezier weather over the UK by the end of next week. But this one obviously has much wetter and windier weather across the UK and further shifted towards the south. So these emerging differences are visible in these two computer model runs, and so you don't have to, I looked through every single one of the 51 computer model runs from the European model, and what I noticed was that most of them had some form of low pressure close to the UK later next week and into the bank holiday weekend. Very few of them had high pressure. Where they differed was the timing of the onset of the low, the track of the low, the depth of the low, all those kinds of differences that you'd expect when looking beyond 6 or 7 days' time. So what can we say? Looking towards the bank holiday weekend, it's more likely that we'll have low pressure close to the UK. Now, the top version here, that has low pressure moving away and a ridge of high pressure building by the bank holiday. This one keeps the low pressure. So more likely to have low pressure close to the UK, but exactly where it's going to bring its unsettled weather, that's the key source of uncertainty later next week and into the bank holiday weekend. We don't just look at the European model, we look at lots of other models, and this shows a summary of all those computer model runs. It shows the top 3 most likely weather patterns for Wednesday the 26th of August, and the most likely, 55% chance, has high pressure over Scandinavia, low pressure well to the west of the UK, and this brown area of Western Scotland indicates drier than average weather for Western Scotland as that low to the west takes its time coming in. But the second most likely has that low already over the UK with widespread blues indicating widespread above average rainfall. So this, the middle of next week, is the main area of uncertainty. How quickly will that low move in from the west and bring some significant rain and wind? Even by Friday, we've got the same weather pattern as the most likely. Keeping that low out to the west, we've got the same weather pattern as the second most likely, having that low over the UK. So it may take all week next week for low pressure from the Atlantic to arrive over the UK and bring spells of rain and wind. But either way, for that bank holiday weekend, what many of the computer models are suggesting is low pressure will be dominant. Here's the most likely, albeit only a 14% chance. Here's the second most likely. Again, low pressure, lots of blues on the map, spells of rain and wind. But it is a long way off, so we're going to keep you updated right here. And what we can say for sure is the next 7 days look like a return to more typical weather for the summer for the UK. Some relief from the heat, some relief from the dry spells. But yeah, we're going to need an awful lot of rain to make up for what we've seen through the summer so far. We'll keep you updated as always on our YouTube channel. That's all from me for now. Bye-bye.